Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. So today I'm making the floral vinegar that I like to use as my hair wash. And I recently ran out, so now I'm using the pineapple and the apple vinegars to wash my hair with. But I really like the floral vinegars best for that. So I'm going to show you what I do. So I've got a bunch of flowers here harvested. And I'm going to get started making this. I'm going to see if I can fill it with 2 jars. So I use rose petals, as you can see. And I also use pansy flowers. So I'll be throwing a bunch of those into each jar. When I pick the pansies, I always go for the red and purples because it just makes a real pretty vinegar that way. And then I'll be using the lavender flowers. Let me speed the rest of this up so you don't have to watch me painstakingly pick every flower head off of here. And then I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so I still have more rose petals because my roses were blooming before my lavender was. So I purposely was picking them off and saving them for when I was ready to start making some vinegar. So I'm going to have lots of rose petals. So when you're filling your jars with your fresh florals, you're going to want to fill it up quite a ways. I'd say at least halfway full of your flowers to 3/4. Now if you're using dried herbs, obviously, and you can, I've made my floral vinegars using dried lavender and rose petals before, and it works just as well. I prefer to do it with the fresh. So you don't have to fill it up that far. Maybe about 1/3 of the way to a quarter to 1/3 of the way, I'd say. So I'm just going to try to mix these up in here real good so the colors show, just because it's kind of fun to have it look pretty, you know, even while it's fermenting. Right, then what I want to do next is I want to add about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of sugar. So this is going to be over 1/4 cup. And there's me spilling it all over the counter like usual. And then I usually just top it off with water and cover it. However, something I've never done before, but I've always had success with my vinegar, but I'm going to go ahead and try it on these batches this time, is to add a little bit of mother from one of my older vinegars. Now, I've never had a problem. I've always just used the sugar, the water, and the fruit or herbs. And it makes its own mother. I mean, it's got to start somewhere, right? But I'm curious to see what difference I might get using a mother from a previous vinegar to see if it makes maybe a faster process or what. I don't know. All right, so I just dumped a bunch off the top so I could get this stuff on the bottom. This is my pineapple vinegar, which again was made without a mother of its own. Or without a mother added, it just made its own. And I'm going to add a little bit in there. And then I'm going to top it off with rainwater. I mean, vinegar is really simple. I think a lot of people, they make it a little more difficult than it needs to be. However, I'm not beyond trying some of these methods that take just a little bit more to them to see what difference is in the vinegar. But honestly, again, all you need, if you watch my original vinegar video, is your water, sugar, and fruit or flour. In fact, you could just make vinegar with just water and sugar. I've never done that. I usually have something added to it. And if I have a really sweet fruit, like the pineapple, I don't typically add sugar to it because it's already got enough sugar in it. That's sort of the point. Now, I'm going to go get a couple of my bigger grape leaves and put them over the top, and that will hold the stuff down into the water. Let's say you don't have grape leaves, or it's the winter time and you're making your vinegar and you don't have, you know, even if you're growing leaves, you can just, or growing grapes and you don't have any fresh, you can just throw I got it too full right now to do this. But you can just put a smaller jar like that to hold it down. There's no need to buy those expensive weights that you put on top. And then I take some cloths that I cut out of some old t-shirts. They're clean. And then I cover up the vinegar mixture, put a rubber band around each. Just like that. And then I set them on top of my refrigerator to ferment for 30 days. One more thing I want to show you before I finish up this video is right here, I've got an experiment going. And if this turns out, I'm going to make a video on it. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to experiment with my homemade fermentation starter and some flour and seeing if I can, this is day 2, I'm just kind of adding a little bit to it each time I go, and I'm going to see how it works for making bread, just like that, just like that. I don't want it to be sour, so I'm just trying it different. So not sour like the way sourdough typically is, though I really like it. I'm just trying to go for a sweeter bread, and so we'll see how this turns out. All right, so there you have it. That's how you get your vinegar made, or get it started anyway. So again, just 30 days in a warm spot. That's why I like to put it on top of the refrigerator or any place where it can stay warm. You just want to cover it up to keep the bugs out of it. That's the only reason, because you're going to start having fruit flies love this stuff. So keep it covered up and then check it after 30 days and it should be good and ready. If it still seems too sweet or very bubbly, you'll want to let it sit for a little bit longer, and then just check it every few days to a week. If it sits for longer than that, it's not going to hurt anything. And then I bottle it up. I usually store my vinegar once I've got it all filtered out. I store it in jars like this, the half-gallon jars. And when like the floral vinegar I keep in the bathroom, I'll store it in a swing top bottle. And I'm going to show you a couple pictures here of some of my different floral vinegars. And that's what they look like when they're all done. So again, just after it's all good and sour, just taste it. You'll know, and smell it. Smell it first and then taste it. And then you just strain out all your fruit or floral pieces, whatever it is, and then put it in a bottle or a jar, and there you go. You've got your homemade vinegar. It's easy and it's practically free. So just like with pineapple, I make the pineapple out of just rinds from the pineapple. And I do the same thing with the apple and the peach or the pear. I just use the peels and the cores and all the parts I'm not using in my apple butters or pies or whatever, and then just throw it in the jar and top it off with some water. And most of those, like I said, I don't typically even add sugar. I don't add the mother two. This is just an experiment for me. Just the water and the fruit is all I've ever needed to make vinegar. If you decide to use your floral vinegar, make a floral vinegar like I'm doing here and use it as a hair wash, or if you want to wash your hair with something else and use this as a rinse, it's an excellent rinse. I use it the same way either way. Your hair will not smell like vinegar. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want my hair to smell like vinegar. No, it won't. Once your hair's rinsed out and dried, you put it on. And I usually just I use a squirt bottle. I put about this much vinegar in a little 8-ounce bottle, top it off with warm water, and then I squirt it into my hair and work it through, and I just leave it on for a minute or so, and I rinse it out. Once your hair is dry, it won't smell like vinegar. It will, however, smell like whatever fruit or flower you've used. I've had my hair end up smelling like pineapple because I used pineapple vinegar on it. So, yeah, don't worry about it smelling like vinegar. Okay. There you have it. That's how you make your own floral vinegar for using as a hair wash or whatever you want. You could try it in a salad dressing if you want. To me, it would be too perfumey, but I tell you, this stuff as is smells really good. And when it's done, it will have even stronger floral smell to it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.